Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. William Saliba wants a significant pay rise to stay at the Emirates, says a journalist. Arsenal defender William Saliba wants a significant increase in salary to sign a new contract at the Emirates. The 21-year-old Frenchman joined the Gunners back in 2019, but it was only on the opening day of the season that he made his competitive debut for the club. Saliba has been sensational this campaign, and Arsenal are desperate to tie him down to a new deal. Arsenal's priority when the summer transfer window shut was to renew the contracts of three of their most talented young players, Gabriel Martinelli, Bukayo Saka and Saliba. Edu and Mikel Arteta managed to tie the Brazilian down to a long-term deal recently, while a verbal agreement has reportedly been reached to extend Saka's contract. That leaves the brilliant Saliba, and Ben Jacobs writes in his piece on Give Me Sport that Arsenal are confident of agreeing a deal with the talented Frenchman to extend his contract beyond the end of 2024. However, the defender apparently wants a significant pay rise in his new deal. The journalist wrote, Arsenal's instant priority was to fend off interest during a period when Saliba was still unsettled, and then give him a chance, and we'll now see talks ramp up because it's clear Arsenal view Saliba as integral. Now it's a case of term being agreed. Saliba want a significant pay rise, while Arsenal are hoping for a slightly longer deal than all parties first anticipated. Talks continue, but Arsenal are calm about the situation. The full expectation remains that Saliba will extend. The Frenchman still earns the same wages, which is £40,000 a week. That is a tiny figure in the modern game, and it's no surprise at all that Saliba wants a big raise. He has been one of the best defenders in the Premier League this season, and he definitely deserves it. Hey Stan Kroenke, it's time to open your wallet. Kevin Campbell says Bukayo Saka is really underrated. Kevin Campbell has now said Arsenal star Bukayo Saka needs to win trophies in order to get the credit he deserves. Campbell was speaking on the Football Daily podcast ahead of this weekend's Premier League fixtures. Arsenal have a trip to surprise package Fulham on Sunday to prepare for. Their lead at the top of the Premier League could have been slashed to 2 points by the time they kick off tomorrow. Mikel Arteta's side can't quite see the finish line yet, but the countdown to the end of the season has now begun. He chose to rotate half of his starting lineup on Thursday for their trip to Sporting. It's all to play for in the second leg after a 2-2 draw in Lisbon. Also, a break in their hectic schedule is on the horizon. Arsenal have just 3 matches left before the final international break of the season. Although many of his stars will be jetting off around the world, one player who will be leaving Arsenal to join up with England is Bukayo Saka, and Kevin Campbell has been signing his praises once again. He believes the 21-year-old is one of the most exciting talents in the Premier League. However, he now needs silverware to back up his immense talent. Speaking on the Football Daily podcast about Saka, Campbell said, I think a lot of the time you get the props when you win things, when you become a serial winner. Look, at 21, he's been a player of the season at Arsenal for 2 seasons. He is England's player of the season last season. I think that recognition comes with winning trophies, especially with who he is up against. He is up against the Phil Fodens of this world, and Phil Foden and City, we know what they do. They win trophies. You are looking at Mason Mount, who is a Champions League winner, so he is up against those sorts of players. And until Arsenal win, I don't think Bukayo Saka will get the props he richly deserves. BBC pundit says Eddie Nketiah has suddenly lost his way. BBC pundit Chris Sutton believes Arsenal striker Adan Kataya has suddenly lost his way after a bunch of impressive performances for the Gunners. The 23-year-old Englishman became a regular starter for Mikel Arteta's side in December following Gabriel Jesus' injury. The Brazilian had to undergo surgery, and Arsenal had no other natural option up top. Nketiah became the main man, and for the most part, he has done a great job. However, he had an underwhelming February and he is now injured. Jesus was Arsenal's first choice striker and one of the most important players in the side. The Brazilian was outstanding for the Gunners in the first half of the season. He was one of the biggest reasons why they looked so good, but Arsenal haven't really missed him. That's because Nketiah fared really well in his absence in most games, but he suffered a dip in form last month, and that has led to some criticism by fans, pundits, and the media. Sutton says he is now concerned about Arsenal's front line because Jesus, Nketiah, and even Leandro Trossard are all injured. He further went on to claim that the Englishman has lost his way a little. He wrote in his predictions piece on BBC Sport, "What Arsenal are doing is brilliant, but I am concerned about whether they can keep it up because they are so stretched up front. Leandro Trossard came off injured against the Cherries, and Eddie Nketiah has lost his way a bit. Gabriel Jesus has been back in training, and I wonder how close he is to a return because he is going to be massive in this run-in." Nketiah managed to score 4 goals in his first 5 league starts after the World Cup, and he was excellent in almost every one of those games. However, Arsenal's fortunes changed at the start of February, and they went 3 games without a win. Nketiah, who failed to score, became the target, but that's a bit harsh in our opinion. The 23-year-old is an excellent centre forward, but you can't really expect him to fill Jesus' shoes just yet. He is a different kind of striker, and there will be games where he will not be able to have a big impact. Journalist Mike Sambi Lokonga claim with Arsenal future in question. It's never quite worked out at Arsenal for Belgian midfielder Albert Sambi Lokonga, and now it looks like he is on his way out. Lokonga was sent out on loan to Crystal Palace in January. Since then, he has started to feature and seems to be relishing his chance under Patrick Vieira, albeit Palace are in woeful form. Arsenal, meanwhile, signed Jorginho for their own midfield and remain keen on Declan Rice and Moses Caicedo. And speaking to Team Talk, journalist Bennett Jacobs believes we might have seen the last of Lokonga in an Arsenal shirt. He said, "He only joined about a year and a half or so ago from Anderlecht, and at that point, he was kind of billed as the next Yaya Touré, but it never really worked out playing for Arsenal. He never lived up to the billing and has been forced out on loan as a result, and it doesn't really feel like he is going to be part of Arsenal's plans moving forward. So it's a very realistic possibility that he goes. He only played 6 times for Arsenal in the Premier League before the loan move to Crystal Palace. The other thing that lends itself towards Lokonga being allowed to leave is the fact that in that position in the summer, Arsenal are likely to add others who will move ahead of him in the pecking order. Lokonga signed a long-term deal worth around £53,000 a week at Arsenal, dubbed special by Vincent Kompany. It's just not quite worked out for the young midfielder. Sometimes certain signings don't quite work, and that might be the case here. Unfortunately for Lokonga, it seems like Arsenal have moved quicker under Arteta than many thought they would, and with that, he is almost been left behind. For Lokonga, it will be about getting the right move. For Arsenal, it will be about getting their money back or more. If he continues to do well with Palace and they do stay up and stick with Vieira, then that might well be the move for Lokonga to pursue anyway. Mikel Arteta could make big Emile Smith-Rowe decision for Arsenal versus Fulham. Arsenal take on Fulham tomorrow, looking to get back to winning ways after their midweek draw with Sporting Lisbon. The Arsenal manager is expected to make some changes from the clash in Lisbon. Illness had struck the Gunners camp before, but Arsenal is set to welcome back the likes of Martin Odegaard and Kieran Tierney from that illness. And according to the Evening Standard, another player who could be in the starting 11 is midfielder Emile Smith-Rowe. Smith-Rowe came off the bench in midweek as he worked his way back to fitness, but after Reece Nelson failed to build on his dramatic winner last weekend, The Evening Standard claims Smith Rowe could get his first start of the season versus Fulham. It comes just days after former midfielder Cesc Fabregas admitted he was a big fan of Smith Rowe and some other Arsenal youngsters. The Englandman has been so unlucky with injuries this season. He was doing so well last season that it's a bit sad it's gone how it has been this year. But tomorrow could give him an opportunity, and it's on Smith Rowe will be hoping to grasp with both hands. A small bout of injuries has threatened Arsenal here, but Smith Rowe is waiting in the wings, and if he can produce what he was doing last year, then it will be like having a new player for Arsenal. Simon praises Arsenal goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. Former Arsenal goalkeeper David Simon has heaped praise on Aaron Ramsdale for his performances so far. Arsenal could win the league this season, and Ramsdale's saves will be one of the reasons they achieved that. The Englishman is among the best goalies in the Premier League and has contributed towards the Gunners maintaining their lead at the top of the standings. The ex-Bournemouth man is just 24, but it seems he has been around for a long time, and Simon believes, considering his age, he has had a remarkable career. He says, as quoted by the Daily Mail, "People forget he is only 24, so that is amazing for me because I didn't join Arsenal until I was 26. What he is doing now at 24 is just phenomenal. He is making big saves all the time. There was one on Saturday at 1-0 that was world class. It wasn't like a flying save or anything like that, but it was a really technical piece of goalkeeping which he did brilliantly, and he's been doing that all season. There is a confidence building in him, and it's a calm confidence because as a goalkeeper, you can't be like flying here, there, and everywhere and ranting and raving. Although Peter Schmeichel made a good career doing that. Signing Ramsdale is one of the best decisions Mikel Arteta has made since he became the club's manager. We needed a new goalie after Lino became error-prone, and Ramsdale has made us a much stronger side to play against. The Englishman can be trusted, and his age means we will not have to buy a new goalie for around a decade. Marco Silva believes Bernd Lino is one of the Premier League top goalkeepers after leaving Arsenal. Fulham manager Marco Silva now said that Bernd Lino is one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League after leaving Arsenal. Silva was speaking to Sky Sports ahead of Fulham's clash with the Gunners on Sunday. Bernd Lino is likely to go into the game with a huge amount to prove. Dropped last season in place of Aaron Ramsdale, Lino moved across London in the summer to join the newly promoted side. His £8 million fee now looks like a bargain, as his performances for Marco Silva's side have virtually guaranteed their safety this season. In fact, there is still an outside chance that Fulham could qualify for Europe this season. Lino was second choice for much of last season, and the signing of Matt Turner last summer saw him fall another place in the pecking order. Arsenal's loss was Fulham's gain, and Lino has been vital to Marco Silva's success at Fulham. The Portuguese manager rates the 31-year-old extremely highly among his Premier League rivals. He will be hoping he can get one over his former side at Craven Cottage tomorrow. Asked by Sky Sports about the German's influence this season, Silva said, "Lino is a top goalkeeper. For me, it's clear I knew his quality before he joined us. We did our best to get him at this club, and for me, there is no doubt he is still one of the top 3 goalkeepers in the Premier League. Premier League experience in our team last season was really short, and it was one of the things I tried to get in. When you sign a player like Bernd Lino, apart from his top quality, you also sign players with knowledge of this league." Lino has been in sensational form since the World Cup break, earning a nomination for Premier League Player of the Month in February. He has recently claimed that he was an absolute bargain for Fulham, and fans at Craven Cottage would certainly agree. Aaron Ramsdale has claimed he felt bad for Lino when he was sold, claiming Lino was still so good. Silva agrees with Arsenal's current number 1 that Lino is still a brilliant player, and will have high hopes for the rest of the season. Even though he is admitted he wants Arsenal to win the Premier League, he will be doing his best to stop them coming away with the 3 points tomorrow. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news show, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.